a bittersweet ending to the season. Just really proud of the kids for competing. And our guys pitched their tail off today. Difficult for the rain delay, sitting around, and came out and found a way to score a run against, their best guy. And, we had opportunities, and, really was just going to come down to who made the mistake or who got the big hit. And both teams had chances out about every inning, it felt like. And, they just were able to get the big one. But I'm just proud of the kids. I mean, they just competed their tails off today. We talked about just leaving it all on the field. We got off to a rough start, and, but we didn't give up. I think it would have been really easy after the second inning to just mail it in. And we found a way to fight all the way back, with some big hits, but, McCabe. And again, I mean, we just kept getting guys on there and extras. And, I think 3 out of the 4 innings or whatever it was, we had guys on and just couldn't get the big hit. Had chances and just didn't go our way today. It was a well-played game by both teams, and unfortunate to be on the losing end.
Okay, we'll start with questions from here in the room, please.
Coach, just more on the pitching. Ben, Kyle, Dom.
Yeah, they did a great job. Ben has pitched well the last couple outings, and gave him the ball and pitched his tail off, gave us a chance. We were getting close to the end there, just knew that 100 pitches was probably his limit. Starts cramping in his calf, but he just pitched his tail off and gave us a chance. And we didn't do much to help him early, and then Najir came in and did a tremendous job. And then Kramer comes in and just, longest outing of the year, pitched his tail off and did a great job. And Dom the same. Some big outs, and just unfortunate that we couldn't get a hit somewhere in there to try to give us a chance to win it.
Can you talk a little bit about what's being said in the locker room? When you guys you go in during the rain delay, you're just giving up that run. They still have another man scoring this. What's being said for you guys to go back out there and play the game?
I don't really know. I stayed in the dugout the entire time they were in the locker room. So, but I know that when we came out, we were ready to go. The kids had a lot of energy, and we're ready. So whatever they did, it was working.
Up in this one, the unearned runs.
Yeah. I mean, just some routine plays that we just didn't make. And again, that was, the second inning was it's just what their offense is. They're going to put pressure on you, and then and try to get some guys on, and then hope one of their big guys is able to do damage and score big innings. Like, that's just the MO. So we played right into it by not being able to play catch, and then just obviously in the last inning, the same thing. So unfortunate that the guys just couldn't pick up the arms, because they were doing such a good job out there competing and stuff. So
you mentioned it a little bit in your opening monologue there, but can you talk a little bit about the team's ability to overcome that 5-run deficit and come back?
Yeah, I mean, we knew there was no tomorrow, and again we've been down. We've given up big innings a lot this year and been down, and found ways to come back and give ourselves a chance or win the game. And so it was no different than what we've practiced all year. So we knew we were going to roll over, and proud of the kids for just competing again and just finding a way to get back in the game. And then just be able to continue it all the way through the last inning. So especially after the rain delay. So it was just a great job of competing. Again, they made a couple more plays than we did, and got the big hit that we couldn't get.
Typical Ben McCabe game.
Yeah, just a huge home run, and extends his pitch record, and just finds a way to get on base 5 times. And I wish they could have split the award between him and Brock for Player of the Year, because I felt like he really deserved it, and just has had an amazing career, and just been such a big part of our program, and has really turned himself into a really, really good baseball player, and somebody that's just worked, cares a lot about the program, has turned into such a great leader, and it just made, obviously caught his tail off this year after just not getting a lot of opportunities to catch, just with the Tommy John surgery, and obviously being behind Crouch a couple of years ago. So just proud of him. I mean, just a lot of big defensive plays that he made. I mean, he throws a guy out, which was huge, and just blocking balls and runners at third base. I mean, just an all around great season and a great career here. And this program is going to miss him mightily.
What's your biggest takeaway from both this tournament as well as this entire season?
Yeah, I mean, we just overcame a lot of drama, a lot of things that were out of our control, a lot of layers, things that were just unfortunate. The rough couple weeks there in the middle of the season. But then just again, I mean, it starts with the pitching coach leaving, Christmas time and just having to do that. And I mean, it was just a lot of things that we had to try to overcome. And, we just unfortunately just couldn't do enough. But it's great to see, guys breaking the record for home runs and just competing every day. And again, we just felt like we had a lot of wins on the table with just not enough arms and just weren't able to do enough. But again, it wasn't for a lack of fight or lack of compete. And, I think we showed that today. And again, just kind of a little bit of a microcosm of we just fought like crazy. It just wasn't enough.
Okay, we'll just go to the Zoom real quickly. We'll go to Eric Lopez, please.
Coach, all the arms you threw today, was that by design or did you have to make adjustments either with Vespi there or with the weather delay?
I mean, we were just going to go to our guys. I mean, we threw, our three best, obviously. We didn't know what we were going to get out of Ben. Just obviously just got off to a bad start just with the arm stuff and just finally got going here late in the year and back to his old self. And so, I mean, we really didn't know what to expect. But he did a great job, went out there and competed. We just didn't give him any help and gave us everything that he had. And then obviously we were going to go to Najir and Kramer and just ride him as long as we possibly could. Najir hurt his knee last week. And so, it was a little touch and go yesterday and just said he was going to go out there and give us what he had. And, he said he felt pretty good. It was starting to bother him a little bit. And then obviously we knew when he was going to go sit around and we knew the delay was going to be long. We knew that he probably wasn't going to be able to come back out. So we had to go to Kramer and, he, obviously has got off to, first 90% of the season was such a great year. And you got a little rough patch there at the end, just I think running out of gas. And we tried to baby him here the last 2 weeks just to make sure he was ready for this week. And throw 3 2/3 and 60 pitches just out of the norm. Just really proud of him for going out there and just laying it on the line. I mean, that's what we talked about before the game. Just put it all out there and whatever happens is going to happen. But just don't let it be because we didn't put everything out there. So I'm just proud of him. I mean, again, those three guys and even Dom, he's been a big part of everything, but they gave us a shot to win the game and we just couldn't do enough.
Okay. The last one from Bryson, please.
Coach, you had Ben McCabe and Nick Romano step up with big hits to extend the game. You've been with them through their entire careers here since they first started. What was it like for you to be able to see them step up like they did and what ended up being their last game?
Well, again, what we talked about all year was just the number of home runs that we hit. You expect 23 and 24-year-olds to be able to handle moments and to be able to do things that they've been taught for the last 4 or 5 years. So just to see both those guys grow, mature, overcome injuries, Tommy John, ACL, just become leaders and Rose had just a rough go and McCabe too, just not being able to catch, having to play first base and hide him last year, so nobody knew that his arm was torn. But then just to be able to continue offensively to have the growth and then, again, those are two guys that when the game's on the line and you got a chance, you're going to want up to the plate because they have the experience, the work ethic. They've been in those moments. They've had a ton of opportunities, a ton of college at bats, and obviously have the age to be able to be mentally tough enough to handle, be able to slow the game down and put together good bats. They did a lot of that all year and this week.
Coach, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
We've had a few long games for sure. I just thought our guys continued to battle. We were able to put together a big inning early. Starling gets in a drag bunt, and then Carter gets a swing off. Obviously, the wind was a little bit different, or he'd had a walk-off home run there late. So really proud of all of our guys just gutting it out. A lot of guys came off the bench. AMAC, we weren't even sure if he was going to be able to go today. He's been throwing up all night and having diarrhea, and had an IV this morning, and We had to get him out of the game. He's back at the hotel. Nate Crispin came off the bench, did a great job. Connor Rasmussen came off the bench and lined out to right field. Dixon Williams, Nowak had a couple big knocks there coming off the bench when we pitched ran for Claunch. So great team effort. Savage was a stud. Landon Ginn was a stud. Danny Bill and Spivey, man, they're on fumes and they're just giving us everything they had. And I thought Groves had a great start as well.
Do you have anything for Coach in the room, Tracy?
Coach, UCF, you jumped out ahead of UCF and they battled back. What does it say about that team? They just kept fighting.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think Love, my hat's off to him. They get a single, they're down 5 and they go first pitch hit and run. And with Jostin, who can swing and miss, and I mean, he lined the ball into left field. It was executed perfectly, but I was really proud of Groves of how he managed that inning, because it could have really got out of hand, and he got a double play ball and a big strikeout. And we only gave up 2 runs.
Okay, we'll start with Steve and Igo on the Zoom, please.
Coach, obviously Savage, another great performance, and bringing him back after the delay. I know he was a little rusty, but take us through kind of those conversations and if he wanted to come back, that sort of thing.
Do you think I put him out there without him wanting to come back, Stephen?
I'm gonna assume he wanted to come back.
Yeah, he said that last year in the Super Regional that he sat for 5 hours, which I had forgotten, and he was throwing the ball 95 miles an hour. So I would never put a kid at risk. He felt great. Our athletic training staff and Kevin Youngs did a great job keeping him warm, keeping him loose, and he felt awesome. So he will not pitch anymore this week. He will be ready to go for the regional next week.
We'll go to Patrick Mason, please.
Coach, for Justin Wilcoxen in that last at bat, he gets intentionally walked the previous 2 at bats, and he really hadn't swung since the 7th inning. So I guess what's the key to just him, having maybe a slow heart rate in that at bat and just kind of working the count and getting a good swing off?
Well, J-Dub's been so crucial for us this year. I mean, you talk about, you've caught 13 innings. He's caught every inning this week, and just been able to slow it down. I mean, he's a 4th-year player. He's been in our program. He's been in some big moments as a hitter. Last year he DH'd first left-handed pitching, hit a big home run in the regional against UVA. So one of the hardest workers on our team, and my hat's off to him. I mean, look, the guy made him look kind of stupid on the first 2 changeups he threw him, and then finally hung him one, and J-Dub was able to get enough barrel to get into right field.
We'll go to Eric Lopez, please, for the next.
Coach, in a different life a while ago, when you and I used to talk, you used to tell me that you told your hitters that 2-out hitting got you championships. It didn't win you a championship today, but it got you to play another day. Just talk about that philosophy of 2 outs and making the other team pay, especially if they give you an extra opportunity.
Yeah, I think our lineup, if you give us extra outs, which UCF did a couple times today, but I think it also goes to just our guys putting pressure. But 2-out RBIs win championships, and you're right, it wasn't a championship today, but some of those 2-out RBIs throughout the season got us a regular season championship.
Okay, next one from Steven.
Coach, just how do you feel about the pitching going to tomorrow? I know you're going to take it 1 game at a time, but you feel pretty good about some guys not throwing to this point. I know y'all have used Danny and Carter a lot, but just about the rest of the guys.
Yeah, we'll reevaluate it, for sure. I mean, Danny wants to pitch every day. He's one of the most resilient guys as far as his arm bouncing back. But Saylor will start game 1, and that's all we're going to worry about is game 1. Then we'll go from there.
Okay, last one from Bryson, please.
Your team has been through now 3 marathon level games going several hours this weekend. Can you talk about how your team has just been able to stay dialed in throughout this week, because they've really had to do that?
Yeah, it's been hard, but every regional that we have played in the past couple of years, we've had rain delays. So some of these older guys have been through it. We don't make excuses, or at least that's what we preach. You can control what you can control. Obviously, you can't control the weather, but our guys just battled. I'm super proud of them.
Coach, thanks for the time today.
Thank you, guys.
All right. All right, joined now by Justin Wilcoxen. We'll start with questions from Stephen, please.
Justin, take us through that last at bat, man. I know that he was pretty change up heavy and finally got you one on that last pitch. So walk us through that thing.
Yeah, for sure. So going up
into the at-bat, we knew that his changeup was his best pitch. He's going to throw it with runners on, especially in scoring position. As coach was saying, I did look stupid on the first two, but eventually I was able to take the high fastball and then get enough barrel on the hung changeup to score the run and win the game for us. Next one from Patrick Mason.
Justin, I asked Coach as well, but what's the key, or how do you stay locked in, or maybe not too aggressive, when you get intentionally walked the first couple times, or the previous 2 times, when you the opportunity to win it there at the end?
The first thing I'm thinking about is the breath I'm going to take before I get in the box, and in between every pitch, however I feel. I mean, whether it's red light release or green light release, if I'm feeling good, I'm going to take a breath on a focal point and then refocus and get back in the box ready for the next pitch. Another from Steven.
Justin, for you, when you're rounding first and you see that ball hit the ground, like, is it relief after 13 innings or elation? Like, what's that feeling like?
I'll probably a little bit of both there. I mean, it was a long game for sure, but seeing that ball hit the grass and seeing all those guys run out it's the best feeling ever. And I couldn't imagine it anywhere else. One more from Patrick.
Justin, when you're catching a lot of pitches today, but, especially Trey, he had a lot of electric stuff. And then for him to come back out after the delay, maybe he's a little wild, kind of working back into the game. Are you tell him anything, or just, how do you guys kind of handle that situation?
I mean, when you got a guy that good, he's got his own keys that he can focus in on. And I mean, pregame in the bullpen, you kind of help him with setups and stuff, but he's pretty easy. He's pretty easy to work with. He knows exactly what's going to help him get back and locked in. I just got to make sure I'm there to block and make sure I'm there to receive and set up a good target for him and pick him up in between innings too. Justin, thanks for giving us a few minutes. Appreciate it. Well, you get some rest.